Today I'm going to be talking with you about how to reconnect with your partner or partners when you're in a queer or gay relationship. My name is Tom Brewitt. I am a relationship expert who helps gay and queer men improve their relationships with themselves and with their partners. Reconnection inside of a relationship is a really crucial skill that you need to master if you are going to take your relationship into the future in a productive and meaningful and connecting way. During a relationship, there will be typical ebbs and flows that happen. In a relationship, there will be periods of disconnection and reconnection. This is true of most romantic relationships, and that's totally natural and totally okay. When you have a period of disconnection from your partner or partners, hopefully that's because you are going out into the world and you are exploring yourself and you are discovering important things about who you are and what you're trying to nurture and develop in your own life or self outside of the relationship. Hopefully you are going out into the world to explore yourself and what's important to you, and then you are bringing those discoveries back into the relationship, and that will help nurture and expand your connection with your partner or partners. Today, I'm going to be offering you 4 ways to reconnect with your partner or partners after a period of disconnection for self-discovery or self-exploration. Before I get to that, I want to go over a little bit more about why disconnection and reconnection is a typical part of queer and gay relationships and how you can manage that when it comes up. All relationships have ebbs and flows. That's perfectly natural and perfectly okay. Queer and gay relationships are no different. There will be times when you feel closer to your partner and times when you feel disconnected or further from your partner. That is totally okay. Today I want to talk with you about what can you do when you're feeling disconnected from your partner? What are some practical things that you can do to reconnect? The reconnection stage is part of the 7 stages of queer relationship development that I've been exploring in this video series. The 7 stages of queer relationship development are the second queer adolescence, which is a period where you can go out into the world and discover who you are and have an adolescent period, which usually happens for us in the queer community after our typical physical actual adolescent period, because we come to know who we are oftentimes later. We don't have the same adolescent experience as our straight counterparts. The next stage is the honeymoon stage. That's pretty much what it describes. It's a period of intense bonding and connection. Next, you have the discovering differences phase. That's a stage where you start to reconnect with yourself after you've been in a really intense honeymoon period and your differences start to emerge. After those differences emerge, you go out into the world and you have the exploration stage. That's a period where you go out and you explore all of the things that are important to you in your life, not just in connection with your relationship. And then that brings us to the agreement stage. After you go out and you explore and you discover some new things about yourself, you have to come home and restate and reclarify what your agreements are with your partner. And then the stage that we're talking about today is the reconnection stage. After you have gone out into the world and you have explored yourself and you have discovered some new things and you've made new agreements, it's really important that you have a period of reconnection with your partner or partners. And that's what we're going to talk about more today. Differentiation is one of the topics that I've been exploring in this video series, and differentiation is crucial to relationship development, whether you're in a queer relationship, a gay relationship, or a straight relationship, or some other kind of relationship. Differentiation in a nutshell is discovering where you stop and start, and then where your partner stops and starts. That means that you understand what's important to you, what your wants, needs, feelings, and desires are, and you make space for your partner or partner's desires when they may be very different from yours. This is a really important skill that not many of us are taught. If you're interested in learning more about differentiation, you can go back to the video where I describe the discovering differences stage of queer relationship development. How does the reconnection stage look different in gay or queer relationships? There are 3 things that I want to talk about in connection to this. First, we often don't have the same community or familial support as our straight counterparts when we're in a queer relationship. This is important because when you have a community or a family that is backing you in your relationship, you're going to have that support, and it's going to echo throughout your relationship in lots of different ways. And this will be true around reconnection as well. So, if your family is not asking about your partner or partners and how things are going, it's going to be easier to ignore some of the differences that may or may not be happening. For lots of us in the queer community, there's still some fear out there about showing up as our full authentic selves in the world. Fear of potential attack is, of course, one thing, but there can be fear of dirty looks or judgment, or how safe is this space going to be if I have engaged in PDA with my partner or partners? Is this place, am I really safe here? In queer relationships, we can often think about focusing on reconnection only through sex or the body in some way or another. And that's one important potential way to reconnect with a partner or partners. But there are lots of ways to reconnect that don't involve sex or physical intimacy. Some people are not as comfortable reconnecting through sex. They would rather reconnect through going for a walk or having a discussion or feeling close and intimate in a different way. And because sex is so front and center in many queer and gay relationships, it's something that we have to be aware of as we're thinking about how our partners like to reconnect with us. Bonding and reconnection are essential in all relationships. We know this. Oxytocin, which is the bonding and love hormone that floods our system when we connect with someone that we love, is a feel-good hormone, right? It's something that we need, and it is a way to sustain and deepen a relationship, many relationships. Without reconnection, relationships can become stale or toxic, or there can be more conflict, and there can be lots of fights and hostility that come up when the differences start to emerge. It's really, really important that you and your partners have some way to systemically reconnect when there have been periods of disconnection. This can be because of differentiation or self-exploration. This can also be after times of conflict or feeling lonely or disconnected from your partner in that way. After conflict, it's really important that you have a way to reconnect with your partner or partners. I'm going to go over 4 things that you can start doing today with your partner or partners. The first thing I wanted to describe is date nights. It's no surprise that date nights are a way that you can connect or reconnect with a partner. When I'm talking about a date night, though, I'm not talking about going to the movies and unplugging and not having a moment where you and your partner can actually connect in a meaningful way. When you're thinking about using a date night as a way to reconnect, it's important to have a conversation with your partner or partners around what actually feels connecting for them. Some people like to have deep, meaningful conversations. Some people like to hold hands and walk in the park. What actually feels connecting to you? And then you can share that with your partner or partners and ask them what feels connecting to them. There's lots of different ways that you can explore date nights. This is not a revolutionary concept. You can spend a lot of money, you can spend no money. You can go to a fancy restaurant and have a discussion, or you can go for a walk around the neighborhood. This doesn't have to be big and elaborate. It's not about how much money you spend or how much time that you invest in this. It's about making space to have a meaningful connection with your partner or partners. The next way to reconnect that I wanted to describe is taking a trip with your partner. Trips certainly can cost more money than free date nights, but they don't have to be super expensive. If you're somebody who likes camping, you can get a very cheap or affordable camping spot and you can go camping with your partner. There's lots of ways you can get free or used gear. You can borrow things from family, friends, community. Being outside of your natural home environment can oftentimes take some of the pressure off the system in your relationship. Many times people will come into my office and they will say, wow, we went on a trip and we haven't fought once. Sometimes just changing the environment is one way that you can get out of your pattern of feeling disconnected. When you plan a trip, it's also important that you are clear with each other about what would feel connecting on this trip that you're taking with your partner or partners. Another idea I want to suggest, volunteering together. There are lots of organizations out there where you and your partner can take a Saturday and do something for somebody else. Oftentimes, when we are giving back to others, we can get outside of our own head and our own relationship patterns, and we can maybe hit the reset button. Doing something together, whether it is organizing things for a local charity or working at a food bank or whatever it may be, can be an activity that builds positive experiences with you and your partner or partners. The fourth thing I want to talk about is joint projects. Joint projects, a lot of the things I've been describing so far are some examples of joint projects, but a joint project at its core is something that you and your partner are going to embark on together. Whether it is adopting a pet and raising that pet together, or taking a cooking class, or repainting your bedroom. Whatever it may be, it's going to be an active task that you can collaborate on. You can share what's important to you, you can hear what's important to your partner, and you can spend some quality time together doing something out of the ordinary. I've been describing a few different ways that you can reconnect with your partner or partners. Hopefully, after listening to this video, you have some ideas of things that you can start doing today to bring into your relationship and reconnect. Because it's important to go out into the world and explore, but it's even more important to be able to have a way that you can get back together and deepen the relationship after having periods of conflict or disconnection.